Alright guys, I'm here at the scale compound. I just wanted to give you a little rundown. I needed to rebuild my shock, so I figured I'd video it and show you. I'm running the Proline Scaler shocks. They're a very good shock. I run them on my rig. I love them. They're really easy to work on, really easy to rebuild. I just wanted to give y'all a little tutorial on how I rebuild my shocks. Make it pretty simple. Alright, first thing I did, took the spring off, as you've seen. The springs, the crossover, then I pulled the cap out, drained all the fluid out. I'm going to take the rod end off. I always wrap something around the shaft itself to keep from damaging the rod, because you don't need any gouges or anything like that, because it goes through those, when the shock travels, it goes through 2 O-rings. And I don't want to damage those O-rings when I have gouges or whatever in the shock itself, or in the shock rod. I always check the rod, make sure there's no gouges, like I said, or anything that could damage those O-rings. You pull your bottom cap off here. Once you get the cap pulled off, you'll have a little plastic spacer inside there. I'm not going to take it out. Then I always just use a pick right here. I pull out the first O-ring, and then there's another little plastic piece and another O-ring. You got a plastic spacer and an O-ring there. Look down in there, make sure there's no debris or anything. And then I use the Team Associated green slime here. It works really, really good as far as keeping it from leaking or anything like that, and it helps keep debris and dirt and stuff out of your shock itself, out of your oil. And then I install this next O-ring, then I'll install that little plastic spacer, and then install the top O-ring, and I just add a little bit more slime right here on the top, and it helps keep all the debris out, like I said, and it also helps with your leaking. It helps keep it from leaking as well. You screw this bottom piece back on. You're gonna have a little excess come out, and that's fine. Then you slide your rod back into the shock body itself. There's that excess there. Once you get that done, you pull it through, and then you reinstall your actual rod end. Alright, once you get your rod end reinstalled, you'll want to go ahead and add your oil. I run my oil to about the bottom of the threads on there. That seems to be the best for me, and what I use it for on my SCX10. I'm a firm believer in a good set of shocks, firm believer in keeping your shocks adjusted right, and also I think shock is like the #1 upgrade for any scale vehicle. When you run the stock shocks, they just leak down and they will give you troubles. Like right here, I have too much oil in it. As you can see, the rod's still showing and it won't go anymore, and that'll cause it to leak. And I got all the rebound, but with it leaking like that, or with it not going all the way up, I will pull this out right here, cycle that shock a few times, and make sure you'll have some excess oil come out, like so. You see that oil there. Clean it off, and here's where you can adjust your rebound. A lot of people don't know this, but if you pull your rebound all the way down and then you tighten this cap up, you will actually give yourself rebound on your shock. I prefer to have rebound. I think it works a little better, but that right there is complete rebound. and it's full of oil. Alright, this right here gives you full rebound, as I was showing you. Take this top spring, install it. This crossover right here can go either way. On this one, for the right rear on my SCX10, it gets a little torque twist. Even with the 4-link setup and stuff, you can actually install that thing facing up, and then put this spring on, your bottom spring, which is your main spring. And then once you roll this down to get your compression, if you see closely there, you'll see it hit the main spring and work on the main spring first, or second. And that right there is a true dual rate setup. I have another shock over here. This one is facing down, and it'll ride on this top spring for most of the travel before it gets to that bottom spring. That's how I have the rest of my shocks, the other three. This one right here will be, like I said, will be my passenger side rear. So it will make it hit this harder spring faster and cause it to help with the torque twist. And it keeps it a little, to me it helps tune your shock. It helps it to where you can adjust it better and have a little more play as far as tuning your suspension. Yeah, that's how I run mine, and I really like the setup. I think it's really good for the SCX10. So that's really all I have for today. Make sure you subscribe, Proline and GA, and I will get back with you shortly. Have a good day.